An interesting thing to explore with modulation effects is sidechaining. And what I mean by this is using a plugin that is sidechain enabled, and what allows you to do is choose another track as the source, and whenever that track plays, it pulls down the effect of the modulation. Now, let me show you how this is done. I've got this piano track, some drums, and a bass. And what I want to do is I want to add some modulation effects on this piano, but whenever the bass plays, that modulation effect drops down a bit and then comes back in again. So for example, on this piano track, let's say I create a send track. So I'm going to create a bus channel, and on this bus channel, I want to add a phaser. With this phaser, let's just dial in some settings. I want 7 stages. The speed I'm going to leave set over here, and all the other parameters I'm going to leave as they are. So what I've got is I've got a phaser send track and my piano original sound, and it sounds like this. So you can hear that sort of sound of the phaser between the gaps. Let's just turn up this level so you hear it more clearly. Now, what if I want that phaser to duck down every time this bass part is playing? So I've got the bass guitar. What I need to do then is add a sidechain enabled plugin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a compressor, and this compressor is going to be before the phaser in the signal chain of this bus channel. And then on this compressor, just enable the sidechain part of the plugin. So I do it over here, and then I can choose the source, and the source is the bass. So whenever this plugin detects the bass signal, it's going to drop the level. So I'm going to play back and tweak the threshold, the ratio, and these attack and release times. First off, let's just pull down the threshold. So whenever the bass is playing, you see that gain reduction. I'm going to add quite a higher ratio of about 7.8 to 1. And then let's maybe change some of these other settings on the attack and release. I'm going to have a shorter attack and a shorter release. Now let's push up that ratio even more. So take those into that piano with the phaser, and how that phaser effect ducks down each time there's that bass. Without the compressor. And now the compressor. Maybe even higher ratio. Just really getting some drastic results. And to take it even a step further, let's add some extra modulation effects on here to really just make it quite crazy. So after this, I'm going to go for a tremolo effect. This is going to use a sine waveform. I'm going to increase that depth and make a bit of a slower LFO speed. Maybe actually syncing it to 16th notes. Increase that depth. So in particular, as there's gaps over here on the bass, listen out for that effect. And just to take it one more step further with some craziness, let's add a flanger after the tremolo. For this, I'm going to increase the feedback, leave the delay time set over there, maybe slow down the speed. So what we've got is we've got a compressor doing the sidechaining by bringing down the level. Then this goes into a phaser, the phaser goes into a tremolo effect, and then this into the flanger. hear it even more clearly. Let's add some makeup gain. Because you can see the gain reduction amount there. So if I wanted to, I could push up that makeup gain. And now adding in the last piece of the song, which is the drums. So now we're going to hear the bass, the drums, this piano with the sidechain compression on with the modulation effects. As it cycles back now, let me turn off this compression. And now with the side chaining. So it's really nice just having that side chain technique that sort of ducks the level of the modulation and then brings them back in depending on what the source is going to be. So definitely try this out. Make a modulation chain on a send effect, then add a compressor using that as the sidechain plugin. Choose a source and then adjust some of the settings and hear how you can have that sort of ducking effect with the modulation effects.